I'm going live right now. In fact, I'm up live right now. But go ahead and hang up and then call me back on the 712 number.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, will do, sir.
Bye-bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are up and we are running. We are late today because we had to fly in, and boy, are my arms tired after flying that far. But they're only tired because I'm a white knuckle flyer, and we had a bumpy ride. Even the pilots got scared. They were telling stewardesses, "Everybody sit down." Even the stewardesses, "Sit down. We're in rough weather." So anyway, welcome to the Wiley Drake Show. We are live, but as they say in Hollywood, and we were just in Hollywood, the show must go on, and the show is on as we speak. Good morning. God bless you. Now, one of the reasons that my shows are as good as they are is because of the fact that I have a lot of great help. I have one of my correspondents on the road with me. And as I sang to him last time we were on the road, I said, "On the road again? I just can't wait to get on the road again." And so we're on the road again, and I'm on the road again today with my correspondent at large, Peter Maxant. And we may even put him on the air here in a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to get him too wired up, but he's drank about 2 gallons of coffee, so he's probably pretty wired. But but anyway, we did fly in via JetBlue Airline, and we thank God for JetBlue Airline, and we thank the Lord for them. And if I have everything set up right, and I think I do, the phone, we should get Brother Roger on with us before too long. He should be calling in on the 712. I'm going to give you folks that number, and you can call it as well. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a party line. Any of you out there, anybody out there old as I am, and remember when in our homes and even in our businesses we had party lines? Well, we'll talk about that later. But we do have a party line, and it's 712-432-1690. 712-432-1690. And I'm going to get that number cranked up here. I think I've got it cranked up already. And if it is, Brother Roger will call in. If not, he'll call me back and say, "I couldn't get in." And but I think he'll be able to get in. I told him to wait a couple of minutes before he called. And if he don't call, I'll call him. Okay? But anyway, we'll wait and see what happens here in just a few moments. He should be coming on the line with us before very, very long. According to this, I do have a conference call going. And we have indeed merged those calls, I believe. Yes, we have. And those calls are merged. And we thank the Lord for that. And so hopefully Brother Roger is going to be able to join us here in a little bit. And we are on speakerphone, and I hope everything's going to be all right. But we'll find out. If not, I'll call him. I can always call him back. If you'd like to call me, though, ladies and gentlemen, use the party line. It's 712-432-1690. Now, I don't know what Brother Roger is going to talk about, but I know somewhere along the line we're going to talk about something that I received from a great organization that I have a great deal of respect for, and that is an organization called Patriot Action Network. I am a patriot, ladies and gentlemen, and I am indeed active. And I believe we have a caller on the line with us. Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Well, that's very good, and we thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have already mentioned, one of the reasons why my shows are as good as they are is because I have good correspondents. And one of my very best correspondents is our Intelligence International Briefing Officer, Brother Roger Angus. He is also a pastor, so I'm a little bit prejudiced there, but he does a great job and helps me with the show. Pastor Roger Angus, I am in Sacramento today, and so now you're in Sacramento with us via the what I call CCC. Now, way back a long, long time ago in this country, when I was, even before I was born, there was a government entity called the CCC, and that was the organization that hired single men to work in our nation and to be able to get them income during the Great Depression. So, with that in mind, though, we have a new CCC. We call our CCC the Congressional Communications Channel. And ladies and gentlemen, I am broadcasting to you live from my iPad and live from Sacramento. But Brother Roger has called in on our CCC. Brother Roger, tell us a little bit about your location, where you're at, not specifically because an intelligence briefing officer tries to keep that a little bit private, but tell us a little bit about the part of the country you're calling us from, and then give us your report, would you please?
All right. Well, I'm calling from somewhere in the central Colorado region. Not quite in the Rockies, but close enough to spit on.
All right.
So that's we're supposed to be almost 70 degrees today.
My goodness. Well, we're in Sacramento, and it's not anywhere near 70 degrees. In fact, the matter is, I had to go to confession. I'm not even a Catholic, but I went to confession this morning because we flew in from Orange County, and when we got here, even the pilots got scared. The pilots were saying, everybody get in your seat and buckle your seatbelt, even the stewardesses, because we got rough weather. And boy, we had some rough weather, and I had to admit and confess to the Lord that I was scared. I'm a white knuckle flyer anyway sometimes. But anyway, we've got a lot of rain here in Sacramento, and we could use some of that temperature that you've got. But anyway, somewhere there in the Colorado mountains, the International Investigative Intelligence Briefing Report Officer, Roger Angus, give us your report, my brother.
Well, I believe it was Thomas Jefferson stated that it wasn't too long after the country was founded and they had established the three branches of government, the executive, the legislative, and the judicial, that he realized just how dangerous the judicial part of the government was, and or probably could be, and they have proven to be very, very harmful to our Constitution. In 1947, they completely reversed the meaning of the First Amendment, using the First Amendment to keep the religion out of schools instead of protecting our right to have religion in the schools.
Yeah.
And they have done many, many other things since then, using the 14th Amendment, which was giving the slaves citizenship because they were forcefully brought here, and then they proliferated while they were here. So they now use that for somebody coming across our southern border or northern border, and then having a kid while they're here, and that kid is a U.S. citizen, which is a bunch of, as my dad used to say, donkey dust. I mean, there's no, it's just, that's not what the amendment was for. But they've also used the 14th Amendment to allow for abortion.
Yeah.
I've not figured that one out yet, believe me. And now we have an appeals court. A gentleman by the name of Judge Richard Osborne of the U.S. Appeals Court of the 7th Circuit says that our Fourth Amendment right to privacy is overvalued. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
He told a conference on privacy and cybercrime in Washington, D.C. yesterday, I think, and I quote him, I think privacy is actually overvalued. If the NSA wants to vacuum all the trillions of information that are stolen through the electronic worldwide network, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a man that has sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and part of that is the Fourth Amendment, our right, our individual right to have our private stuff, our private conversation, private emails, so forth, remains private. He doesn't see a problem with the government guarding all that information. So, but one thing we got to remember, in the 8 years that Bill Clinton was president, over 70% of the judges that he put in place were card-carrying ACLU attorneys. And I'll guarantee you that Obama has been doing pretty much the same thing.
Well, there's no doubt about that Barry Soetoro, you call him Barack Obama, but he has done a great deal of that and a great deal of stealing away our constitutional rights. You're absolutely right on target.
I only call him Barack Obama, family program master.
Yeah.
The United Nations, because of the report that Dianne Feinstein released, is calling for the arrest of pretty much the entire George W. Bush administration. And we know why Feinstein did forced their policy on their way out, just like they did when George W. Bush won the president in 2000. They went through and took all the W's off of the computer keyboard. It's a very childish thing that they did, and it's an extremely stupid, childish thing, dangerous childish thing that Dianne Feinstein did, because it puts every American in danger.
Yes.
Especially our troops, people who work in industries around the world. And then when you sit down and you look at who they talked about and who they talked to, put that 6,000-page report together, they didn't talk to anybody that was involved. They didn't talk to any of the investigators. They didn't talk to any of the people that actually, because the report says they did not get any valuable information out of it. Yet we did get the information out of Mohammed or whatever his name is, the architect signed one. And we were able to stop several other situations from happening, but the report didn't say that, because they didn't talk to the people who got that information, which means the government spent a whole lot of money on a report that is just bogus, absolutely bogus.
Well, that seems to be their habit of spending a lot of money on stuff that ain't worth nothing.
Well, that's federal government, that's sure. We have 24 states that have filed a lawsuit against Barack Obama during the amnesty program that he's done.
Hey, Brother Roger, let me interrupt you there just for a moment. I'll tell you what, brother, you said there's 24 states that have sued Barack Obama. Well, back in 2008, when Dr. Alan Keyes was running for president and I was vice presidential candidate, we asked him to produce his birth certificate, and he wouldn't do it, so we sued Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Hussein Obama, to produce his birth certificate. And I can't tell you how many people, even some of my Christian friends, that said, oh, you shouldn't sue the president. And here we have now 24 states that are doing it, and somebody owes me an apology.
No, for sure. I mean, this is we've never produced, a viable birth certificate.
Absolutely not.
The one that he thinks produced had the name of the hospital that was the name of the hospital 4 years after he was born. But it's just a whole bunch of garbage on that. But what actually happened with this amnesty thing was he didn't do anything at all. He had Jay Johnson issue a memorandum through the Department of Homeland Security that supposedly changes the law. But according to our Constitution, only Congress can legislate, and only Congress can change an existing law. So and the government has already rented a building, they're hiring thousands of people to handle this, and none of it is constitutional. Where's Congress?
Yeah.
Now, we've already seen backpedaling from a bunch of the Republicans that got elected. And they got elected primarily because they opposed the amnesty thing. And in my own state, the guy that beat out Mark Gold, you call his office about that amnesty thing, and he's for it.
Yeah.
This isn't the way to win friends and influence people in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Democrats tell you one thing to get elected and then do something else. But now we're starting to see Republicans doing the same thing. And it's just ridiculous.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit later in the show about what the Republicans are doing, and they call it the GOP, and the news media and others refer to the GOP all the time, and I'm about to believe that we ought to call them the GOP, the goofy operating people, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Exactly. I mean, we have to do something about the immigration situation in this country. It is getting so far out of hand and dangerous. Let me give you the stats out of one state, North Carolina. In August of 2014, just that 1 month, 5,955 illegal aliens charged with DUI. Over 4,000 were charged with child molestation. One state, 1 month.
Unbelievable.
When is this nation going to wake up?
Well, brother, I'm afraid I used to think we were asleep, but I think we're dead. You can't wake up. You can wake up a sleeping person, but you can't wake up a dead person. And I'm afraid that many of us are dead.
Well, one of the past that I had been following for quite a few, I think it was 1989, gave a prophecy on election night. And the prophecy basically is, God told him, I have given you your nation back. now do something.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that needs to happen is the church needs to get back involved in the political arena.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry to say that 85 to 90% of the church in this country will not touch politics in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, yeah.
And that has to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
That has to change. Because the reason we're in this mess is because the churches were supposedly pulled out of the political arena. They kind of were, but they could still play in it very, very heavily. They should have fought that 1954 gag order, but they didn't. So now we've got to figure out another way to do it. But there is a way to do it. There is a way for them to get involved. There's a church down in Colorado Springs endorsed a candidate from the pulpit. And I think tomorrow night he's having a meet and greet with all of the newly elected people in Colorado Springs, or going down to his place. And, this is what the church do. They have to get involved with this stuff and start bringing godly principles back into the political arena. And because it has been lacking so much.
Yeah. Well, if we don't, brother, we're going to continue to go down and down and down, and I'm afraid that we're so far down, I don't know if we can ever come back or not. I do know God is still on the throne, and I do know God's people, according to 2 Chronicles, says, if my people, not if the GOP or the Democrats or the independents, but if my people will humble themselves and pray, then God said, I'll hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal their land. And I believe that's the hope for this country.
Well, I believe it is too. As part of that prophecy that was given by that pastor, he made the comment that, God said, I have heard your cries.
Yeah.
And he has done what he needs to do, but there's still action on our part to be done.
Yeah.
And if we don't do it, then it's going to go by the wayside, and it won't be his fault. Because he gave it back to it. He gave us the opportunity to grab a hold of this thing and take it back.
Absolutely.
So,
well, Brother Roger, you're absolutely right. We've got to take our nation back, and one of the ways we're trying to do that is with this television and radio network. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said, one of the ways, I don't mean to make light of it, but one of the ways that we're going to do it is having people like Roger give us intelligence briefing reports. And by intelligent, I mean those that are intelligent, not just what they think we want to hear. Because we're sick and tired of hearing what they want us to hear rather than what ought to be heard. And that's why Brother Roger is so important to this program, and why, in all honesty, it is so important that you and I, all of us out here listening right now, get the intelligence briefing report on a regular basis. Ladies and gentlemen, you go to CNN, that's certainly not the news. And you go to the other news media, you're not going to get the truth. But if you come to the Wiley Drake Show or you go to the Roger Angus Show, you'll get the truth. Now, Roger, you do a show one day a week from your part of the country, but it goes all over the world on Crusade Radio. And so tell our listening audience how they get your show, when it's on, and then also tell them how they can get sent to their email their own copy, as I get every so often from the Intelligence Briefing Report. So tell them how to do that, would you please?
Okay. The radio program is, like I said, it's on Crusade Radio. It's on Tuesday afternoon at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. That's 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Tuesday afternoon. It's called the American Intelligence Briefing Hour, and we spend a whole hour digesting several articles, as many as we can get. Usually I've got more articles than I have time to talk about them.
Yeah.
And but I also do the American Intelligence Brief, with the internet newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday, and I go through 350 to 400 emails a day to put this together and concentrate on what the government is doing to us, simply because that's what the government is doing, and it does not do very many things for it. So, if you want to get a copy of that, go to my website at www.restorepreaching.org. And on the homepage, there is a link to go to the American Intelligence Brief Report.
Good morning.
And there is a $7.50 a month
I'm doing
for
the
that.
show now,
A minimum of 20 reports.
That's okay.
And
I got
85
Roger
to
on that. Why don't you wait
95%
about 5 or 6 minutes and then
of
call
what's in
back?
that report you won't even hear on Fox News, let alone MSNBC or CNN or anything like that.
Yeah.
I concentrate on our constitutional issues, on the religious issues, and our Second Amendment issues.
Well, brother, thank you for that concentration, and thank you that you share that with all of us, not just Wiley, not just the Wiley Drake Show, but if you have your own show out there, folks, you're welcome to it as well. Or if you don't have a show, you just want to know what's going on, I would encourage you to go and listen to his show. I would encourage you to get that daily email in your box. I look forward to it every day, and I use it quite often. And I've already, long time ago, apologized to him for plagiarizing. But I said, my goodness, it's such good stuff. I want to use it, and so I use it. And so, Brother Roger, thank you so much for your report today. We're going to let you go at this point. We're broadcasting to you live, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Roger, you're welcome to stay on if you'd like, but we are going to move on to some other things. And thank you so much for being a part. I got a breaking... I have a breaking...
I've got to be doing today, so I'm going to have to beg out here.
Okay, brother. Thank you so much, and have a great day there, and we appreciate your report. Keep up the good work, and keep on coming back, okay?
All right. We'll talk to you later, Pastor.
Okay, brother. God bless you. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Roger Angus, International Intelligence Briefing Officer for the Wiley Drake Show. I have here in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers, that goes back to about 1962, though, but anyway, I heard Rush Limbaugh say that one time, and, you know, I want to copy some things from good stuff that Rush says. Most of what he says is garbage, but anyway, I won't go there today. But anyway, I have a breaking news story in my hand. That breaking news story says, and I quote, House Republicans, the GOP, the grand old party that's gone awry, in my opinion. But anyway, the breaking news story says this: House Republicans blatantly betray voters. That's you and that's me. We voted some of them in again, and we voted some of them in for the first time. We have a freshman class of congressmen and women. But this breaking news story says Republicans blatantly betray the voters. Folks, I'm a voter. I have been betrayed, and so have you. Now, why and how did they do that? They did it by fully funding border invasion. in a massive new spending bill. Number one, how did they betray us? They approved and fully funded border invasion of the United States of America. That's number one. Number two, this money that they funded fully, do you hear that word? Fully. Fully means full, folks. That money fully funds Obamacare. And that's why I call it Obamacare, because it was created in a laboratory one night when Boris was there. You see, we've been betrayed, ladies and gentlemen, by the politicians. Now, I'm not even a Republican anymore. I ceased to be a Republican in 2006, became an independent in 2008, and that's what I am now. But the bottom line is, folks, I encourage people to vote for some Republicans. I voted for some Republicans. And we have been betrayed. We have been betrayed even though we voted for them or told other people to vote for them. We've been betrayed because the full financing of border invasion has taken place. And the new spending bill gives fully funded approval of the Obamacare fiasco. The fellow putting this breaking news story out says next, I just dropped my notes, so I got to bend over to get them. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, the fellow that sent me this, after he gave us those two bullet points, the bullet points of fully funding border invasion and fully funding Obamacare, he says if that's not enough, you better finish your drink. In my case, it's a good cup of coffee. And I'm almost finished with it. But he said, you better finish your drink. And you better sit down. I'm sitting down. Before you read the rest of this breaking news story. What you're about to read is going to instantly make you red in the face. And I quoted the other day a fella, and my producer pulled him up, and his statement was, I'm mad as hell and I ain't taking it no more. Well, I resemble that remark. We've always known that coward, liberal, Republican John Boohoo Bonner. John Boohoo Bonner. He's a liberal, folks. We've always known that he's worthless when it comes to stopping Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Hussein Obama, a.k.a. the illegal president in the White House. We know that John Boohoo Bonner is worthless when it comes to stopping Obama. That isn't a surprise to me, and I know most of my friends aren't stupid enough for it to be a surprise to them. Most of them know the same thing. But it is surprising that it only took a month after November's landslide election. We wrote a song, folks, We'll Remember in November. And we remembered in November, and we voted in November. But it's surprising that it only took a month after November's landslide election for Boohoo Bonner and his liberal aliases on the Hill to completely stab voters in the back. Folks, do you have a sharp pain at the base of your neck? Do you have a sharp pain in your back between your shoulder blades? If you do, it's because you've been stabbed. You've been stabbed in the back by the liberals on Capitol Hill. They have stabbed you in the back on border invasion currently happening at our open southern borders. The massive, outrageous spending bill that Boohoo Bonner's team of looters is pushing through as we speak is not only loaded with oink oink pork and not only fully funding Obamacare, it actually increases the dollars to help those legally, no, to help those illegally crossing our borders. Many, many dollars. I kid you not. That's exactly what's happening. We've been stabbed in the back. The bill only funds the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees most immigration policy, until February. But negotiators gave new money for immigration programs at other federal agencies. There's 900, are you listening to me? $948 million for the Department of Health and Human Services. Unaccompanied Children Program, an $80 million increase. The program provides health and education services to these young illegal aliens. The department also gets $14 million to help school districts absorb new immigrant students, illegal aliens. And the State Department would get $260 million to assist, oh my goodness, to assist Central American countries from where the immigrant children are coming. And they do it all on the basis, oh, don't you want to help the little children? Don't you want to help the babies? Yes. But we'll do it legally or we won't do it. Did Boohoo Bonner's team looters make any attempt at all to defund Obamacare? No, and nada. They didn't do anything. The law, Obama's law, Obamacare, that they said we don't want to read it, we'll read it after we sign it. After it became law, the law is still being funded. But there's no new money for it. They even gave outgoing crook, Congressman Eric Cantor, some pork as a final parting gift. The former House Majority Leader stunned the political world by losing in a GOP primary last summer. But Congress agreed to provide $12.6 million for his signature legislative achievement, the Gabriella Miller Kids First Act, which authorizes new federally funded pediatric research. With Republicans like Boohoo Bonner in charge, who needs the Democrats? You know, someone said one time, you need to keep your enemies close by so you know what they're doing. Well, they gave outgoing Congressman Cantor some pork as a parting present. With Republicans like Bonner in charge, who needs the Democrats? Each and every single member of Congress who votes for this madness should be challenged in 2016. Every cotton-picking one of them. Republicans are in deep, deep sin. They're saying one thing and doing another. Ladies and gentlemen, my Bible calls that a liar. And when I see a Republican, I want to say, liar, liar, pants on fire. They're lying through their lying teeth. With Republicans like Bonner in charge, who needs a Democrat? Managing director of LibertyNews.com, I would encourage you to go there. Managing director of LibertyNews.com. Internet marketing, political junkie, and news addict, skeptical of government. Go to the Facebook, and you can indeed comment. Join Patriot Action Network, and you can read more about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in deep trouble. In 2006, I resigned as a member of the Orange County Republican Central Committee. I was an elected member, and I resigned because of the shenanigans that they pulled at the Orange County Republican Central Committee. Many of us said we do not want to recommend, we do not want to endorse Michael Corona as sheriff because he's a crook. Were we right? Well, he's in federal prison. That ought to tell you how right we were. We said no, we as a party should not be endorsing a crook, Michael Corona, for sheriff. That was the start of my withdrawal. Secondly, the Republican Party said, we're going to endorse a Democrat. We're going to endorse a Democrat for governor of the state of California. Oh, they called him a Republican. But his own wife said, Maria Shriver, a Kennedy, said, you run for governor, and we'll have a good Democrat in the governor's mansion. And that's exactly what they did. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the most devastating governor that the state of California has ever had. We've had some good ones and we've had some bad ones. But there's been good, bad, and worse. Worst was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if you want to try to disprove that, give me a call. I'll be glad to talk about it. You call right now if you want to, 712-432-1690. Put in your access code 399-430-pound, and then we'll go from there. You can be on the conference call with us. I call it the CCC, as I said, Congressional Communications Channel. And we would encourage you to call. We'll be on again tonight at 5 o'clock. And ladies and gentlemen, I know our show was late today, and I apologize for that. I am, as I speak to you right now, and right now it is that your phone? I think Peter's getting a call. Is that your phone, Peter?
Yeah.
Well, answer it. Answer the call. I'm going to call my buddy that called me a while ago, and we'll talk to him for a minute, and then we'll get off the line. Well, I'm doing fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I have on the air with me, on the line right now, Dr. Ronnie Cruz, who is one of my personal advisors. And I have asked Dr. Ronnie Cruz to sort of swing into action while I'm out of town. I'm in Sacramento today, wet, and it's raining here in Sacramento. Are y'all having rain in Southern California?
Well, it looks like it's about to show up. It hasn't started, but it looks like it's on its way.
Okay, well, it's already here, so I guess it's coming that way. But the good news is, we heard a while ago that the snowpack is growing by the foot. And the snowpack, of course, is very important for us in California. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have Dr. Ronnie Cruz. He is my personal advisor and my brother in Christ, and a fellow warrior and a prayer warrior. And I was invited by the new elected, I believe her name is Young Kim, is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And she is, I believe, doing a good job so far. In fact, the matter is, she was sworn in here in Sacramento, which is traditional, but because she's a local girl, and I believe a consistent one, she decided that she would come back to the district and do a sort of a repeat of the swearing-in ceremony there in Orange County in her district. And she sent me an invitation because I encouraged a lot of you folk to vote for her, and I voted for her. And so I was invited to come to that other swearing-in ceremony, and that's going to be on this Friday. But I'm not able to be there because I'm in Sacramento for the carols at the Capitol event and to do what we can here in our state's capital. But I've asked Dr. Ronnie to attend that and represent me, and so he's going to be doing that. And I just wanted to say thank you, Dr. Ronnie, for doing that. And anything else you'd like to share with our audience while we're still on the air?
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure, of course, to be able to attend, to be there with the new Assemblywoman. She appears to be a very strong, not only conservative, but a Christian. As I told you, she was at that event that we spoke of a few weeks ago, where you attended and I attended as well.
Yeah.
And I think that what we need to do, and with your presence there in Sacramento, and of course the carols for Christmas at the Capitol, this is a very important event there that you're involved in, that we pray for God to raise up many people such as Young Kim to go to both Sacramento and to Washington and all of our capitals.
Amen.
To represent not only the conservative values, but to represent the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, whose birth we're celebrating this Christmas.
Amen. Amen. And brother, thank you so much for answering the phone. Thank you for being on with us. We'll let you go at this point and say, God bless you. Keep up the good work. Keep the home fires burning. And we'll be talking to you probably a little later.
Okay. Thank you so much. God bless.
And God bless you. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Ronnie Cruz, one of my personal advisors, a man who loves Jesus, a man who's a prolific writer, a man who is a prolific speaker and teaches and preaches the Word of God, does a great job, as well as works with me as one of my personal advisors and helps me a great deal. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to say we're going to wrap this program up and come back again to you tonight at 5 o'clock. In the meantime, we're here in Sacramento. If you would like to call me, there's two numbers you can reach me on after we're off the air. After we're off the air, you can reach me on 714-865-8132. That's my cell phone. There's another cell phone number that is the same area code that Barack Hussein Obama is in, and that's 202. My other cell phone is 202-747-4839. Call me on either of those phones. I will answer them, and I will be glad to talk with you, pray with you, pray for you, take your advice, give you some advice, whatever we can do to work together. I want to say thank you to Brother Roger for being on with us today, Intelligence Briefing Report, and Brother Ronnie for giving us an update on Southern California. And I want to say thank you. I do have my able assistant, Brother Peter Maxent, with me, and he's going to be helping me here in Sacramento. So with that in mind, I want to say the motto for this program is found in Micah chapter 6, verse 8, and Matthew 23:23. And that simply is this: do justice, love mercy, and walk with God. May God bless you, may God help you, and give you a great, great day.